My fiancée texted me at midnight. I'm still in love with my ex. Give me time to rethink. So I sent her screenshots of her ex's wedding invitation to marry her cousin and watched karma do the rest. Sup Reddit. So my fiancée texted me at midnight saying she's still in love with her ex and needs time to rethink. I told her noted and let karma handle the rest. I, 29 male, work in the supply chain for a medical device distributor covering the Northeast Corridor. Basically, I make sure hospitals and clinics get the equipment and disposables they need on time. Because when something doesn't show up, it's not oops, it's a whole department melting down. The stress is real, the hours can be brutal, but the pay's solid and I'm good at it. Wednesday night was hell on wheels. Started at 6 a.m. with a temperature-controlled shipment of sterile surgical kits that lost refrigeration somewhere in Pennsylvania. Spent 9 hours on the phone with drivers, warehouse managers, and an increasingly frustrated OR manager who was one missing tray away from canceling half a day of cases. By the time I dragged myself through my apartment door at 9:30 p.m., I was running on fumes and rage. I heated up some leftover Thai food, ate it standing over the sink like an animal, then face-planted onto my couch. Didn't even make it to the bedroom. Just collapsed there still wearing my work clothes, phone in hand, scrolling through nothing, because my brain was too fried to actually process anything. Then at 12:47 a.m., my fiancée Melissa drops this bomb. I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear me. I've been doing a lot of soul-searching lately, and I realized something important. I'm still in love with Jason. I know that's hard to hear, but I need to be honest with you. The feelings never really went away. Read it twice. Blinked hard. Read it again like maybe my exhausted brain was playing tricks on me. Nope. Still said the same thing. My fiancée, we'd been together for 3 years, engaged for the last 6 months. The woman I'd proposed to on a beach in North Carolina with a ring that cost me $4,000 was texting me after midnight to tell me she loved another dude. 3 years. We'd been building something real. Met at a work conference where her company was showcasing some new inventory software, and my boss made me attend the demo. She'd been presenting, handled some idiot's rude questions with sharp humor that made me actually pay attention instead of checking my phone. Grabbed coffee afterward, exchanged numbers, went on a proper date that weekend to this steakhouse she knew. Things developed naturally from there. We'd done the relationship milestones, met each other's families, survived multiple holiday dinners with her mother who, low-key didn't think I was good enough, took a trip to Colorado last year where we hiked in the mountains, and she didn't complain once even though we got caught in rain. I'd proposed last October on her 28th birthday during a weekend at the beach. She'd cried, said yes, posted it all over social media within an hour. We'd already booked the venue for next May, sent save the dates, started the whole wedding planning nightmare that makes you wonder why people don't just elope. I'd saved up $14,000 for our first house down payment, been disciplined about it for 2 years, skipping unnecessary expenses, brown bagging lunch, turning down guys' trips. That money was sitting in my own account, kept separate but earmarked for our future together. And she hits me with this at almost 1 a.m. on a Wednesday. Not a phone call, not an in-person conversation. A text message like she's canceling plans to grab dinner or telling me she's running late. Here's what made it interesting, though. I already knew about Jason. Not about her still having feelings, that was fresh information. But I knew exactly why she was suddenly having this massive epiphany about loving him. 5 days earlier, my buddy Vincent, who works with Jason, sent me a wedding invitation. His girlfriend got it first, forwarded it to him asking if they should RSVP yes. Vincent sent it to me because he's got the tact of a sledgehammer and figured I should know. Jason was marrying Melissa's cousin Angela, her actual blood relative, the girl she'd grown up with, done dance classes with as kids, shared an apartment with in their early 20s. They were tight, and Jason was marrying her in about 4 weeks. I'd been sitting on this information for 5 days. We'd gone out to dinner 3 times, watched movies, had normal couple conversations, sent each other stupid memes during work hours. She'd never mentioned the wedding. Not once. Your cousin marrying your ex-boyfriend is kind of a major life event that normal people discuss with their fiancé, unless you're having a private crisis about it that you don't want him knowing about. So when that midnight text arrived, everything made sense instantly. She'd found out about the wedding, couldn't handle it, spent days spiraling about what could have been, and finally cracked under the pressure of keeping it inside. I typed back, noted. Her response came in like 3 seconds flat. I'm so glad you understand. You're such an amazing person. I knew you'd get it. I just need some time to process everything and figure out what I'm feeling. Can we talk tomorrow about this? What she wanted is to park me on the bench while she worked through her drama. Let her figure out if there was any angle to play here, any way to get what she wanted. Keep me warm as the backup option. Not happening. I pulled up the wedding invitation on my phone. The fancy script font announcing the union of Angela and Jason in about 4 weeks at some vineyard venue that probably cost $30,000. The date, the time, the little RSVP card graphic, screenshotted the entire thing. Sent it to her with, "Interesting timing on these feelings. When were you planning to mention this?" The typing indicator appeared instantly, then stopped, then started again. This went on for a solid 3 minutes. She was writing and deleting, trying to figure out what version of the story worked best. Finally, "How did you get that? Did Angela send it to you?" "Doesn't matter how I got it. Your cousin is marrying your ex next month and suddenly you realize you're still in love with him after 3 years with me. That's not love. That's jealousy dressed up as feelings. You don't understand the situation. It's way more complicated than that. It's actually pretty simple. You found out he's marrying someone else, someone in your family, and you can't stand it. That's not about loving him. That's about ego, about not wanting anyone else to have something you decided you wanted again. That's not fair. I've been honest with you about my feelings. You weren't honest. You hid your cousin's wedding from me for at least 5 days, probably longer. You didn't mention it once. Then you dumped this on me at midnight, like I'm supposed to be your emotional support while you pine for another guy. That's not honesty. That's manipulation." Long pause. The dots appeared and disappeared several more times. "I didn't know how to tell you about the wedding. Finding out hurt more than I expected. I thought being honest about my feelings was the right thing to do." I let out a sharp breath. "You think springing this on me at midnight is being honest? You want me to comfort you about having feelings for your ex who's marrying your cousin? You want to keep me around while you figure out if there's any way to blow up their wedding? That's what this is. You're testing the waters. I would never try to ruin Angela's wedding. She's my family. Then why hide it from me? Why not mention it the second you found out? Why spend 5 days saying nothing and then suddenly confess you love him in the middle of the night? You're planning something or you've already done something. Which is it?" No response. "We're done," I typed. "I'm not anyone's backup plan. I'm definitely not staying with someone who's in love with a guy marrying her cousin in a few weeks. This engagement is over. You can't just end 3 years over one conversation. Over one text. That's insane. You just told me you're in love with another man. I'm supposed to what exactly? Compete with a ghost from your past? Win you back from a guy who's literally marrying someone else? Hard pass. I'm out." My phone started ringing immediately. Her name lit up the screen. Declined. She called again. Declined again. Then the messages started flooding in. "Please just talk to me for 5 minutes. I know this looks bad, but you're not understanding. Can you please answer your phone? We're supposed to be adults about this. You're overreacting." I typed back, "We're done. Lose my number." Blocked her. Set my phone on the coffee table. Turned off the lights. Went to my actual bedroom and slept better than I had in months. The whole thing from first text to blocking her took maybe 30 minutes. Felt weirdly calm. No panic. No second guessing. Just absolute clarity that it was over and needed to stay over. Thought that was the end of it. Turns out I was spectacularly wrong. First couple of days were peaceful. Worked my shifts, went to the gym, meal prepped for the week. Figured she'd accepted reality and moved on like a reasonable human being. Saturday afternoon around 3 p.m., I'm doing laundry in my apartment when someone starts pounding on my door. Looked through the peephole. Her sister Erin and her best friend Brittany. The dynamic duo of enabling bad behavior. I'd met them both multiple times, knew exactly what I was dealing with. Brittany was the worst of the two. She'd been encouraging Melissa's worst impulses for years. Every petty argument we'd had, Brittany was in her ear telling her she was right, I was wrong, she deserved better. Every time Melissa got mad about something stupid, Brittany escalated it. Classic toxic friend who treats relationships like a competition she needs to win on her friend's behalf. Opened the door but stayed in the doorway. Didn't invite them in. "We need to talk about what you did," Erin said. She texted me at 1 a.m. that she's in love with her ex. I broke up with her. Pretty straightforward. She was confused and scared. The wedding news messed with her head. That's a normal reaction. I leaned against the doorframe. Normal is telling your fiancé you're upset about your cousin marrying your ex. Not hiding it for days and then confessing you still love him. There's a difference. Brittany stepped forward, arms crossed. She always had this aggressive energy like she was looking for a fight. "You're being a complete jerk about this. She made one mistake, and you threw away 3 years. That's cold. She didn't make one mistake. She made multiple calculated choices. You could have been understanding, Aaron said. Worked through it with her. That's what people do when they love each other. They don't just bail at the first sign of trouble. This wasn't trouble. This was her telling me she's in love with someone else. Brittany shook her head like I was the dumbest person alive. You're going to regret this. She's a catch and you just threw her away over nothing. Good luck finding someone better. I'll take my chances. Aaron tried a different approach. She wants to talk to you face to face. Give her that much at least. You owe her a real conversation after 3 years together. I don't owe her anything. She had 3 years of conversations. She chose to have this one via text at 1 a.m. That was her call. Now I'm making mine. We're done. Tell her to stop sending people to my door. They stood there for another minute, trying to come up with something else to say. Brittany muttered something about me being heartless. Aaron said I was making a huge mistake. Then they left. Went back to doing my laundry. The wash cycle had finished while they were at my door. Moved everything to the dryer, set the timer, sat down to watch the game. That should have been it. 2 people showing up to plead her case, getting shut down, leaving. Simple and done. But Melissa had other plans, and she'd recruited Brittany to help her execute them. Sunday morning, I'm making breakfast when I get a DM on Instagram from Angela, the cousin, the bride, the person at the center of this whole disaster. Hey, I heard what happened with you and Melissa. I'm really sorry. This is probably super weird, but can we talk? There's stuff you should know about the situation. We met for coffee that afternoon at this place near the park. Sunday crowd was thick, lots of people recovering from Saturday night, groups of friends gossiping over specialty drinks. Had to wait for a table. Angela looked stressed when she walked in, but not wedding stressed. More like dealing with family drama stressed. Got our coffee and she jumped straight into it. Jason and Melissa dated for about 10 months 3 years ago. It ended badly. He caught her texting another guy, making plans to meet up behind his back. When he confronted her, she tried to turn it around on him, said he was being controlling and jealous. He ended it right there. She took a sip of her coffee. After the breakup, she wouldn't leave him alone. Showed up at his place unannounced multiple times. Texted him constantly from different numbers when he'd block her. Called him at work. He finally told her if she didn't stop, he'd file for a restraining order. That's what made her back off finally. And then you two got together? About 8 months later. We worked in the same building, started talking at coffee breaks. I knew about their history from Melissa's version, which conveniently left out the cheating and stalking parts. When Jason and I started dating, I felt guilty. Melissa acted supportive at first, but made everything difficult behind the scenes. Snide comments about my choices, forgotten plans, passive-aggressive stuff. She never got over it. No. When we got engaged 4 months ago, she completely changed. Wouldn't talk about wedding planning even though I kept trying to include her. Every time I brought up venues or dates or anything, she'd change the subject or make excuses to leave. When I asked her to be my maid of honor 2 months ago, she said yes, but acted like I'd asked her to donate a kidney. Resentful about the whole thing. Then what happened? Angela looked uncomfortable. Monday night this past week, she texted me. Asked if I was absolutely sure about marrying Jason. Said maybe we should have a serious talk before the wedding because there were things I didn't know about their relationship. Things Jason supposedly hadn't told me that I deserved to know before making a permanent mistake. She tried to break up your engagement. Basically, I told her I was sure and I needed her to respect my relationship. Then I showed Jason the text immediately because we don't do secrets. That's when he showed me everything from 3 years ago. All the saved messages of her begging him to come back, showing up at his apartment, the threats he made about the restraining order. It was intense. So she tried to blow up your wedding. It didn't work. And then 2 days later, she texted me. I was the consolation prize. If she couldn't have him, she'd burn down everything else too. That's exactly how it looks. Angela set her coffee down. I'm sorry you got caught in this. I've known her since we were kids. We've been close our whole lives, but this is completely out of control. I can't have her at my wedding after that. Can't have her standing next to me as maid of honor, knowing she tried to sabotage everything the week before. You're doing the right thing cutting her out. I know. It just sucks. 3 decades of friendship and family connection gone because she can't handle not getting what she wants. Angela checked her phone. I should go. I've got a final dress fitting in an hour. But I wanted you to know the full story. Thought you deserved context for why she's acting this way. Appreciate it, and congrats on the wedding. Don't let her ruin your day. I'm trying not to. We've already hired extra security for the venue just in case she shows up anyway. We said our goodbyes. She headed off to her fitting. I went home. Spent the rest of Sunday thinking about everything she'd told me. The cheating, the stalking, The restraining order threat. Melissa had left out some pretty significant details when she talked about her past relationship with Jason. Made me wonder what else she'd left out over 3 years. What other stories had convenient gaps where the unflattering parts should have been. Changed my locks Monday morning before work. She still had keys to my apartment from when we got engaged. Made sense to give each other keys at that point. I wasn't taking chances on her showing up unannounced or worse, letting herself in when I wasn't home. Went to the hardware store, bought a new deadbolt set, installed it myself using YouTube videos as a guide. Took about an hour but felt better once it was done. One less thing to worry about. Tuesday evening I'm making dinner when she shows up. Just appears at my door like she still has the right to be there. Looked through the peephole, there she was. Opened the door. Didn't let her in. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. Can we please talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. You told me you're in love with Jason. That's pretty clear. I panicked. The wedding news messed me up and I said things I didn't mean. I'm not in love with him. I love you. We're engaged. That has to count for something. I looked at her standing there trying to rewrite history, like I'd somehow misunderstood her midnight confession. Where's the ring? What? The engagement ring. The one I bought you. Where is it? She touched her left hand instinctively, still wearing it. Why are you asking about that right now? Because if we're done, which we are, then you don't get to keep it. Hand it over. Her face changed. The fake vulnerability disappeared. You're not getting this ring back. You gave it to me. That makes it mine. That's not how engagement rings work. The engagement's off. Give me the ring. No, I'm keeping it. You can't just take back a gift because you decided to throw a fit over one text message. I'm not asking. Give me the ring or I'll take you to small claims court for it tomorrow morning. Your choice. She stepped back, hand going protectively over the ring. You're being ridiculous. This is exactly why we're having problems. You overreact to everything and make these dramatic declarations without thinking things through. I'm overreacting? You texted me at 1 a.m. that you're in love with another man, and I'm the one overreacting? I told you that was a panic response. I was overwhelmed and confused. But instead of being supportive, you just cut me off completely. That's not how relationships work when you actually care about someone. The manipulation was impressive. She'd gone from midnight confessions of eternal love for her ex to gaslighting me about my reaction in less than a week. Classic move. Make me the villain for having boundaries. Here's how this works. You give me the ring right now voluntarily and you leave. Or you keep the ring, I file paperwork tomorrow, and we do this the ugly way. Either option ends with me getting that ring back and you out of my life. Pick one. This is insane. You're acting like I committed some crime. I had feelings I needed to process. That's normal human behavior. You hid your cousin's wedding from me for days. You tried to sabotage their engagement. You confessed you're still in love with him after 3 years with me. Those aren't feelings to process. Those are deal breakers. She tried tears next. Pulled out the waterworks, mascara running, the whole performance. Please don't do this. We can work through this. I'll do whatever it takes. Just don't throw away 3 years over one bad night. The ring. Now. You're really going to force this? Make me give back something you gave me out of love? That's who you want to be? I want to be the guy who doesn't get manipulated by someone who's been lying to him for 3 years about being over her ex. The ring. Last time I'm asking nicely. She stared at me for a long moment, calculating, trying to figure out if I was serious or if she could cry her way out of this. Whatever she saw in my face convinced her. She yanked the ring off her finger and threw it at me. Literally threw it. I caught it before it hit the ground. $4,000 bouncing toward my hallway floor. There. Happy now? You got your precious ring back. I hope it keeps you warm at night since you clearly care more about it than you ever cared about me. Well, you're not worthy of $4,000. You're going to regret this. When you realize what you gave up, it'll be too late. I know exactly what I gave up. Someone who never really wanted me in the first place. I'll survive. She stood there another few seconds like she expected me to change my mind. Invite her in. Start the whole conversation over. When I didn't move, didn't say anything else, she turned and walked away. Closed the door. Locked it. Looked at the ring in my hand. Felt lighter than it should have for $4,000 worth of metal and stone. Put it in my sock drawer. Went back to making dinner. Leftover chicken from yesterday heated up fine. Ate it while watching highlight reels on my phone. Normal Tuesday night. Changed my building entry code the next morning before work. Better safe than sorry. About 2.5 weeks passed. The wedding was getting closer. Melissa spiraling harder. Started getting messages from mutual friends. Carefully worded texts clearly coming from her version of events. She was going through something difficult. I'd abandoned her when she was vulnerable. The midnight text had become a moment of weakness during a tough time. Most people were reasonable once I explained the full story. The attempted wedding sabotage, the stalking history, the hidden engagement, the obsessive behavior. A few stuck with her, but they could have her. Then came the financial demands. Her sister Erin texted me a detailed list. Beach proposal trip, $950 engagement ring, $4,000 venue deposit, $2,500, her half. Dress shopping trip to Charlotte, $380 anniversary dinner at that steakhouse, $240 concert tickets, $185 coffee maker she insisted we buy, $120. Her birthday trip expenses, $420. And the absolute highlight, emotional support and domestic labor during relationship. Value to be determined by mediator. My attorney took one look at and laughed until he cried. She has zero legal standing for any of this. Gifts aren't debts. The venue deposit's already gone. And that last line about emotional labor is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in a breakup dispute. I texted Erin back. Already got the ring. She can have the coffee maker. That's it. Everything else were gifts or shared experiences, not debts. Tell her to take me to small claims if she wants to push it. That should have been the end. Money settled, belongings returned, everyone moving on. But I made one more decision that changed everything. I decided to go to the wedding. Angela had texted me 2 weeks before asking if I wanted to come. I know this is weird given everything with Melissa, but you've been supportive through this whole nightmare. It would mean a lot to have you there. Plus, we've got amazing food and full beverage service. At the time, I'd said maybe. I wasn't sure I wanted to be anywhere near that situation. But then the financial demands happened. The realization that Melissa was completely unhinged about this wedding. Figured I'd earned the right to watch her cousin get married to the guy she'd been obsessed with for 3 years. Call it curiosity. Call it petty. Either way, I RSVP'd yes. The wedding was at this vineyard venue about 40 minutes outside the city. One of those places that looks exactly like the Pinterest boards every engaged couple obsesses over. Rolling hills, grapevines everywhere, string lights, the whole setup. Got there around 2:30 p.m. The ceremony was set for 3 p.m. Outdoor seating is already filling up with guests. I found my seat toward the back, deliberately positioned where I could see everything without being obvious about it. That's when I spotted them. Melissa and Brittany pulling into the parking lot together. Got out of Brittany's car and headed toward the entrance, both wearing white dresses. The kind that makes every single person at a wedding turn their head immediately. Jason's younger brother Connor was handling guest check-in, former college linebacker. Spotted them the second they got within 50 feet. He pulled out the guest list, made a big show of running his finger down it, then looked up and said loud enough for the 20 people in earshot to hear, "Names? Melissa." He checked again, slowly. "Not seeing it. You're not on the list. I'm Angela's cousin." Check again. Connor held up the clipboard so she could see it herself. "See for yourself. You're not here." Angela made that clear when she sent this over. "And you're wearing white to someone else's wedding. You need to leave." Melissa tried to push past him. Brittany joined in. Connor didn't move an inch, just stood there like a brick wall while they tried to physically shove past him. A woman in her 60s walking by slowed down, looked at both white dresses, looked at Connor blocking the entrance, then muttered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Well, that's a choice." Phones came out. Not obvious about it. Just guests casually angling their screens while pretending to check messages. Could see at least 5 people typing furiously. The group chats were lighting up. That's when Melissa started the scene. Full volume. Crying. Yelling about family bonds and betrayal. How she had every right to be there. How Angela would regret this. How she just wanted to support her cousin on her special day. Other guests started gathering to watch. Someone's grandmother asked if that was the bride having a breakdown. Had to be explained that no. That was the psycho ex-friend trying to crash in a white dress. From my seat, I had a perfect view of the whole thing. Better than any Netflix show I'd watched recently. The drama was unfolding in real time, and I had front row seats. Venue security showed up. 2 guys in suits. One of them said it calm and professional. "Ma'am, you're trespassing on private property. You need to leave now or we'll contact local law enforcement." Melissa's face went red. Security politely but firmly escorted both women toward their car. Melissa fought them the entire way. Not violently, but resistant. Dragging her feet. Still yelling about love and fate and people not understanding real connection. Brittany kept shouting about them making a huge mistake, about how they'd all regret this someday. Her voice got higher as they got farther from the venue. Like distance made her braver. That's when Melissa saw me. sitting there, 3 rows from the back, watching the whole thing unfold. Her entire body went rigid. She stopped mid-rant and just stared. You could see her brain trying to process it. Her ex-fiancé sitting casually at her cousin's wedding. The wedding she wasn't invited to. The wedding she was currently being removed from. "Are you kidding me?" she screamed. "Not at security. At me. You're here? You get to be here and I don't?" Security tried to move her along. She planted her feet and kept going. "This is insane. This is completely insane. I'm family and he gets a seat? Angela invited him?" I didn't say anything. Just sat there. Made brief eye contact, then looked away like she wasn't worth the attention. That made it worse. "Don't you dare ignore me. Don't you dare sit there like you're better than me. You ruined everything. This should have been—" One of the security guys cut her off. "Ma'am, you're making a scene. Time to go." She tried to pull away from them, still staring at me, still trying to make me react. Her voice got higher, more desperate. "Say something! You owe me an explanation. You can't just sit there." I pulled out my phone and checked the time. Didn't even look at her. "Oh my God, you're unbelievable. You're actually—" Her voice cracked. The tears started. Not sad tears. Angry, humiliated tears. "Fine. Fine. I hope you're happy. I hope this is everything you wanted." Security finally got her moving. She kept trying to turn around to yell more, but they weren't having it. Brittany stumbled after them, also trying to glare in my direction, also failing to land any kind of meaningful blow. They reached Brittany's car. Security strongly suggested they leave the property immediately. They didn't leave, just sat there, engine off, watching the venue through the windshield. Both of them in their white dresses like two ghosts haunting the parking lot. Melissa was gesturing wildly. Could see her talking, probably still ranting about me being there, about how unfair everything was. The ceremony started on time. Angela looked incredible walking down the aisle. Jason cried during his vows in that good emotional way. The officiant made jokes that actually landed. Everything went smoothly. Meanwhile, in the parking lot, Melissa and Brittany sat there for the entire ceremony. 90 minutes. Just watching. Multiple guests walked past their car on the way in and did double takes seeing 2 women in white dresses sitting motionless in a vehicle. During the cocktail hour, Angela's other friend Hannah showed up to drive them away. Walked over to the car, talked to them through the window for a few minutes, then they finally left. The reception was excellent. Food was incredible. Band knew what they were doing. Beverage service was great. Angela and Jason made their rounds during dinner. Stopped by my table. Angela hugged me. "Thank you for being here. And for dealing with all of this. Your wedding. Your day. She doesn't get to ruin it." She tried, though. Sat out there in that white dress like some kind of rejected ghost. People are going to talk about this for years. At least it's a good story. The best story. The worst story. Both. I don't even know anymore. She laughed, then got pulled away by her mother for photos. The rest of the reception went off perfectly. First dance was sweet. Toasts were funny and heartfelt. Cake was some fancy vanilla situation that actually tasted good. By the time the band played the last song around 11 p.m., everyone was properly celebrating. I headed out around 11:30. Drove home feeling weirdly satisfied. Watched Melissa try to crash a wedding, fail spectacularly, lose her mind when she saw me sitting there like I belonged, and then sit in a parking lot for 90 minutes in defeat. Got to see Angela and Jason have their perfect day anyway. Consequences in real time. Beautiful thing to witness. Got home, changed into comfortable clothes, made a sandwich, and watched the highlights from the day's games. Normal Saturday night. Figured that was the end. Melissa had played her last card, lost completely, and would finally move on with her life. 3 months later proved me wrong. It was a Tuesday evening in late August. Warm outside. I'd just gotten home from work, was making dinner, when someone knocked. Looked through the peephole and there she was. Thinner than I remembered. Tired looking. Wearing summer clothes that seemed too big for her. Opened the door but didn't invite her in. "What do you want?" "I need to talk to you. Please. Just 5 minutes. You crashed your cousin's wedding in a white dress 3 months ago. We have nothing to talk about." I know. I know how bad that was. How bad everything was. I've been thinking about it constantly. I wanted to apologize face to face. Apologize to Angela. She's the one you hurt most. I tried. She won't respond to anything. She blocked me on everything. My whole family blocked me. Angela's parents blocked me. Even my own parents aren't talking to me right now. I have no one. You had Brittany. Melissa looked down. Brittany and I aren't friends anymore. She was using me for drama. I finally saw it after the wedding. Everything you said about her was right. She encouraged the worst parts of me because it entertained her. I cut her off 2 months ago. I stood there looking at her. Part of me felt bad. Small part. Most of me remembered everything. The midnight text. The message to Jason. The white dress at the wedding. The 3 years of lies. Why are you really here? I wanted you to know I'm sorry. For all of it. The way I handled everything was wrong. I was obsessed with Jason, and I used you as my safe option while I couldn't have him. You deserved better. Yeah, I did. And the wedding thing with the white dress? Brittany called it a power move, said we should make a statement, and I went along with it because I was desperate and stupid. Calling it a power move doesn't make it less destructive. That's just rebranding terrible behavior so you feel better about doing it. I lost everything. My cousin, my family, my friends. I had to move back in with my parents. My life completely fell apart. That's what happens when you make terrible choices repeatedly and refuse to listen to anyone trying to help you. I know. I just wanted you to know I understand now. What I did was wrong. All of it. You tried to tell me and I didn't listen. I thought I was fighting for something real, but I was just being selfish and destructive. Okay. She looked at me like she expected more. Some grand forgiveness speech or emotional reconciliation scene. I just stood there waiting for her to leave. That's it? Just okay? What else do you want me to say? You apologized. I heard it. That doesn't change anything. It doesn't undo 3 years of lies or the chaos you caused or the fact that you were in love with someone else, our entire relationship. You getting consequences for your actions isn't my problem. I thought maybe we could talk more. Maybe get coffee sometime. No, we're not getting coffee. We're not talking more. This conversation is over. You got to apologize and I acknowledged it. That's all you're getting from me. I still care about you. I don't care about you. At all. You're someone I used to know who taught me a valuable lesson about trusting my instincts and not settling for being someone's backup plan. That's it. Go home, Melissa. She stood there for another minute, looking like she wanted to say something else. Nothing came out. Finally, she turned and walked back to the stairs. I closed my door, locked it, went back to making dinner. My chicken was slightly overcooked from the interruption, but still edible. Ate it while watching a documentary about deep-sea exploration. Pretty interesting stuff. Had no idea how much we still haven't discovered about the ocean. Checked my phone later that night. She'd sent one final text from a new number I didn't have blocked yet. I know you probably hate me. Maybe I deserve that. But I want you to know the feelings I had for you were real, even if I messed everything up. I'm sorry for all of it. She'd changed her number. Of course she did. Read it once, deleted it, blocked the number. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.